Welcome back to the Full Court Press podcast. I'm your host, Brian Joyner, and this week I think we're going to break down the last two divisions that we have before next week. I think we're going to do our fantasy draft. I think we're waiting on a couple more confirmations before we can set a date on that one. But
Yeah, a couple
I,
bums not signed up.
yeah, I think that's what's planned for next week. But this week we're gonna, like I said, break down the last two divisions, the Northwest and Pacific divisions. Um, as always, I'm joined by my good friend Ben Clark. How's it
What's
going,
up?
Ben?
Welcome back. I don't know why I'm saying welcome back to you. You're the host, but
Oh, every time you can get here, it's a it's a good
it's
day.
true. We made it through another
Um,
week.
yeah, right, right. I think we're gonna start off with the Northwest division, and probably the easiest team to cover on this. Maybe it's hard, but we're gonna start with the Denver Nuggets.
Mm,
Um,
the Denver Jokic's.
the Denver Jokic's, yeah, yeah. Okay, let's start with him. Give me the reason why you would take him first.
The reason why or reason why not? Because
Why
I don't
not?
have a
Why?
lot of reasons of why
Yeah,
not.
yeah. Do you have any
um,
reason why you wouldn't?
um, I mean, only things that aren't really grounded in fact, but you know, I think like we've talked about before, some recency bias or just some what's the word, fatigue of
Mhm.
of stats. It's possible that he finally takes a step back. I mean, he's been on an upward trajectory for feels like at least 5 years now. Seems like every year we're like, oh, there's no way he's going to do better than next year, and somehow he finds a way to be more efficient and fill up the stat sheet even more. So I don't think there's any science behind not taking him number one, other than there's always a risk of injury for anybody, and it's possible that Denver takes a step back in terms of the rest of their team, and they're not as good as they once were. But I still think he's a pretty solid lock for a number one overall pick, and
I
being
don't know. Some would say their team is better than last year, though. I mean, I know they're not as they might. Well, I don't know. I would almost say this roster put together is better than the roster they had when they won the championship. Now, where does that compare to other teams in the NBA? I don't know, but um, just adding Cam Johnson over Michael Porter Jr. I think already makes them a better team, and they get back almost the same roster that they had when they won the championship. I mean,
yeah,
Bruce Brown's
Bruce Brown, yeah.
back. They have Christian Braun. I mean,
hmm
this team is good.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I don't necessarily see them taking a step back unless other teams in the West take a step forward compared to them, just kind of staying where they're at. But staying where they're at, still a top four, top five team in the West, which is pretty great. So I'm with you
Sure.
on that. I do think that outside of Jokic, who I still see is locked in at number one to me. If you want to take Wemby or you want to take Giannis or possibly Luka, then I don't have a ton to beef with you on it, but I think just statistically he's going to have the best chance at getting triple doubles and
I
continuing what he
mean,
does. So
it was a trick question in general, but
yeah,
this guy's going to go number one in almost everything any mock draft you see, any respectable league you're in. There's no way that unless you have somebody who really believes in Wimby, but even then, the only thing Wimby's going to give you over Jokic is blocks,
yeah,
and every other stat Wimby's going to. I mean, Jokic is going to match him if not be better. So,
yeah.
I, and that includes being on the floor. And he just doesn't miss games, and that's a skill that is often overlooked.
I agree. Yeah, that's definitely been one of his biggest assets is that he's able to just pile up so many stats because he's on the floor all the time. Which, I mean,
And
that's how you do
it
it.
it does not matter. This he's him and Luca are kind of the only two I can think of. Maybe Shea, but him and Luca, it doesn't matter who is on the floor with them. They are going to produce. It's not
hmm
like Giannis is he's going to produce as well, but if he doesn't have somebody to get him the ball other than him going full court transition, but Jokic and Luca are going to be the center of the team no matter what.
Yeah, yeah, and I see it that way too. I do think your point of them being a better team as far as some of the rotational pieces they've had the last couple of years. I think they should be healthier this year. Hopefully Jamal Murray is finally back to where he was a couple years back. He should be fine. They have a similar bench previously. They bring Bruce Brown back. They get Tim Hardaway Jr. and I don't really think they got too much other. Well, is Jonas Valanciunas going to actually play for them, or did he commit to Europe?
No, he signed. He's ready to
Okay.
go. He said that he's committed, even though he said that he wasn't committed.
Yeah.
But he signed a contract and he's going to honor it. Now,
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe he asked for a buyout at the end of the year, but from what I understand, he's in it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I see him as being pretty productive this year. He played pretty good last year, and honestly, subbing in for Jokic, and I doubt they'll stagger him too much. Or, I mean, I'm sure they'll stagger them. They probably won't play them together too much, but he's pretty reliable backup. He double machine when he plays, so I could see him being a pretty decent piece off the bench.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up that with him on the roster, you may see Jokic take a step back as far as minutes go. So
Yeah.
his numbers across the board may come down a little bit. That doesn't mean he's not going to average 30 and 10 and 10, but you know, like he's still his numbers will go down. And maybe if the coaching staff really starts to believe in Valanciunas, maybe he gets more minutes than pass centers because their backup last year was DeAndre Jordan. I mean,
Yeah.
that's been the past few years.
You saw good minutes out of Zeke Naji too,
Right.
my Arizona boys, but I'd like to see him get some more time. He seemed like he was decently productive when he played, but I'm sure with Valanciunas there now, he'll probably take a small step back or at least kind of stay where he was. So maybe not another jump this year, but anybody else on the roster you're intrigued by, or pretty much the same?
I mean, obviously, Jamal Murray. I'm interested to see if Christian Brown can take another step in 3-point shooting. Can he be I mean, he's already a legit defender, and he does everything. I mean, that guy's all over the floor all the time. So he's going to get you a bunch of just like garbage stats, but I mean, steals and blocks add up after a while, and rebounds and stuff. So he's solid. Cam Johnson, I'm curious on if he can go back to when he played in Phoenix. Is he going to go into that kind of role? That could hurt his fantasy value kind of, because he was the number one option in Brooklyn. So the numbers he had last year aren't going to be what he sees this year. But Michael Porter Jr. was very successful in the spot that he's in. So maybe he shows something. Kind of sleepers. I'm interested to see if Peyton Watson finally gets a jump shot. If he does, that can really help him out, but he hasn't in the past, so I don't know if that is going to translate. But other than that, I mean, this roster is kind of towards the back end is solid, but not fantasy relevant.
Yeah, I think, obviously they lost Russell Westbrook as well, but those minutes will probably be taken by Bruce Brown and a combination of Christian Braun, and I don't really think I see any other guards taking too much. I guess Hardaway will probably get some of those as well, so I think that kind of rounds them out pretty decently, but should be a top 5 team in the West if they stay healthy.
For sure. I think, and then so guys like Aaron Gordon, where do you value them?
I've always had trouble with him, not just because he dunked on me in college, but I think he's kind of, he has really good streaks. He has a couple solid scoring games, and he's always going to get you some defensive stats. But I think it's when he's involved in the offense, and whether that's passing or scoring, kind of goes through waves of contributing more or less. And he does tend to get hurt a decent amount too. So I think if assuming he's healthy and he should be a little bit more part of the offense. It seemed like they featured him more last year than previously, and losing Westbrook, who is a facilitator and has the ball in his hands quite a bit. I don't see Christian Braun as that much of that type of facilitator, nor Bruce Brown. So I think outside of Murray, you might see Gordon and Jokic with the majority of the assists.
This team better hope that Tim Hardaway Jr. is not asked to handle the ball, because if he is, that's going to be rough. But Aaron Gordon is mocked going in like the 11th round.
Yeah,
and that is a value I'm in, because he plays a ton. I mean, you get somebody in the 11th round that's going to play 30 plus minutes a game.
Yeah,
I'm in on that.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't care what.
I agree.
You're going to get stats somewhere.
That's kind of where his value seems to lie, is if he's getting the minutes, and then if he's actually contributing on the offensive side, because defensively he'll always give you something. But yeah,
right. All right, moving on to the next team, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Hmm.
Um, where do you? I mean, they have Anthony Edwards first round. You with that?
I was last year and I was a little disappointed, but
Yeah.
I mean, he's still so young that there really is all the time in the world for him to develop. So I mean, he seems to be growing in his leadership and in his shot selection. That's kind of what I want to see more of this year. If he's taking better shots, not taking as many shots, his efficiency I think is what really sets him back from a fantasy perspective, and possibly from the Timberwolves winning perspective as well. That I think the more he improves on that end of things, the better off they are. Which they didn't really do a ton in the off season.
Mm-mm.
Um,
They pretty much stood pat.
they didn't really gain anyone other than their draft picks, and they only lost Alexander Walker, so they're more or less the same team. So I think there's definitely an opportunity for him to really have a lot of volume like last year, and nobody's really gonna shoot more than him, I would say.
No, not on this team. Well, I'll tell you something. Julius Randle will shoot more than he does.
Yeah,
But I'm
I
not
guess.
taking Julius Randle. I mean, really, on this team, it's hard. I looked it up. I really wanted to try to find somebody that I would draft from this team, other than Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
I love McDaniels as a player. I wish
Hmm.
he was on the Mavericks,
Yeah.
but he just doesn't. He doesn't do anything fantasy wise. He doesn't score enough. He doesn't rebound really. I mean, he rebounds okay, but he doesn't really get enough rebounds to make it worth it. He's not really a shot blocker. He'll get you a steal or so, but like
Hmm.
only every couple. He's just a really solid defender, and for any team, he is perfect for their team. He fits any team, but not fantasy wise. That's
Yeah.
just not there.
He reminds me of Deshaun Stevenson a little bit.
Yeah,
Obviously not
yeah,
quite as built, but he's a similar player. And I mean, he had a pretty good month or two last year where he was hitting threes and scoring more than his career average, which was really useful. But then he kind of trickled off at the end of the year. So
he
it,
finished power forward 9,
which yeah, I mean,
and
he had
that's
a
pretty
pretty
good.
good year. So I don't know if I'm taking him in the draft as high as he's supposed to go because of that. I think they've baked some of that in, but Randall was hurt last year a good chunk, and we'll see. How do you feel about Nas Reed?
I like Nas Reed. He's a he's a bench player. They should be a starter somewhere. I hate that
Hmm.
he is a bench player there, but I mean, if you're gonna, he couldn't turn down a contract like he got
Yeah,
for no, that's crazy. Anyway, I mean, I like him. He scores well. He's the if he's going to be the sixth man, he's probably coming in for Anthony Edwards sometimes. They're going to like slide Dante DiVincenzo in. They might come in together,
hmm,
and so he becomes almost the number one option when they're doing that. He doesn't have any moves. He doesn't have a go-to shot. He just kind of is catch and shoot, and then takes advantage of swinging the ball around. And for somebody you rely on scoring, especially fantasy-wise, if you're going to rely on his fantasy production comes from scoring, it's going to be difficult to put stock in that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and he seemed to like they were trying to use him more as a 3-point shooter to stretch the floor a little bit with Gobert and Randall
Yeah.
in the middle. So I don't know what he shot his percentage was last year, but I think it was low 30s, which I mean that's kind of
Actually,
what you're looking for, right?
not 37.
Okay,
So that's pretty
37. Yeah,
good.
that's great. I mean
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of his value is going to come in, is being that 3-point volume shooter off the bench and kind of
Yep.
space the floor for the big guys.
But the problem is that if you don't have Rob Dillingham take a step forward playmaking, which he's just never been a playmaker,
Hmm.
even in college, Kentucky, he was not a playmaker. I don't see. I mean, Mike Conley's good, but he's another year older, and last
Yeah.
year he did not play well.
Yeah.
So who's getting him the ball? Because even Anthony Edwards is not a playmaker. Nobody on this team is a true get the ball to the guys playmaker. So I just think that hurts Nas a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that could definitely impact him. I mean, they've got Terrence Shannon, Jalen Clark that are supposed to have somewhat of a bench role, but I don't really see them as they're more scorers themselves. So I guess it's really going to be up to Edwards to take a step forward on the passing side of things, and I just don't think he hasn't developed that yet as part of his game. Shows flashes of it last year, but we really
Yeah.
got to see if he's willing to take a few less shots, more efficient shots, set up his teammates. Because I think when he does that, he'll be a lot more effective, and they'll probably win more games. But
You talked about a guy I'm very interested in to see how he starts the season. I won't draft him, but I'm very interested to see how Terrence Shannon goes. He had a unbelievable summer league. I was watching him. He was tearing it up. He's just athletically over, just in that showcase. Athletically, he just stood out. And so even athletically in the NBA games, he stands out. It's just like if he shot 35% from three last year on low shooting volume, but if he can shoot the ball more and he can be that substitute when Anthony Edwards goes out, I think that could be a super good snag after draft. About a week or two into the season, you see how they're using him. I think it could be valuable.
yeah, I think they need him to be that piece. Losing Alexander Walker and not really bringing in any replacement. Ideally, that would be his fit, because if he's shooting higher volume, high percentage like that, I think DiVincenzo kind of slides into that a little bit too as the sixth man or the ball handling guard when Edwards is on the bench. But I could see Shannon getting pretty good minutes off the bench doing that.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's not going to play a lick of defense. I'll tell you that much. I watched him at Tech. I watched him a little bit when he went to Illinois. That he's just not. That's not his. He's just gonna. They're gonna put him in a corner against whoever, and then they're just gonna. He's not gonna do anything defensively. He's not gonna rebound. He is literally scoring nothing.
He's the 21-1 combo.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to put trust in guys like that.
Yeah.
Are you touching Rudy?
He gets a bad rap, and honestly, rightfully so. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. Fantasy-wise, he's always productive. It's just a matter of where he goes in the draft. Back in the day, he'd go in the third, fourth round, and now if you can get him 6, 7, 8, even, that's definitely valuable because every year averaging double, get you 2 blocks, maybe defensive player of the year. Like there's definitely value in those consistent players. So it's not that I don't want to touch him as much as I just usually somewhere in that realm I'm taking some more potential rather than a solid floor, which if we're kind of treating our first 3-4 picks as kind of solid contributors that are going to produce as long as they stay healthy, then I probably won't end up with a Gobert, but it's probably because I already have a center that provides that plus some.
Yeah, it just depends on how your draft is going, I guess, at that point. If you have the first pick, you already fill your top spot with Jokic, and then you kind of go from there. And I don't know what centers, off the top of my head, I don't really know what centers I'm taking that are in a better spot than him. Maybe, I don't know if Cat's considered a center, but
I would consider him one, yeah. And Giannis can be a center.
These guys are definitely being taken over him.
Yeah.
Now, not Vucevic, but I like Vooch, but anyway.
You don't think Vooch over?
Not, it's hard because Vooch is very up and down, where Rudy is consistent. Consistency is so big, and like you said, every night he plays, he is going to get 10 rebounds and 2 blocks and close to 10 points.
Yeah.
And so Vooch is going to get you probably more points, but his rebounding is not the best. And so I value people that are going to guarantee me 10 rebounds probably a game over somebody who's not. But anyway, kind of moving on to the next team we have here is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Reigning champs.
Reigning champs. Congrats. As much as they hate us, but nonetheless. Outside of Shea, they have ADP for Shea is 2, which I can understand, but I would probably take guys like Giannis and Luka over Shea, but you can't. It's one of those that top 4, that top 4 or 5 is like, what does it matter? Like,
as long as you get one of those, you're okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Jokic stands out a little bit, but other than those 4 you mentioned, you're gonna be fine. It just matters on what position you really want and who do you want to root for, and
Yeah, I do have a question for you though. So you have guys like Jalen Williams, who
which one?
the one that matters fantasy wise.
The Bronco.
The Bronco. On ESPN, he's listed as a shooting guard,
Yeah.
a small forward, and power forward. Does that factor into your drafting? Like players like that?
Yeah. Just with multiple positional
Yeah, that can play
eligibility.
three positions.
Sometimes. I'd say the biggest one for me is small forward. I find that it's hard to find elite small forwards in fantasy. Top of the line, like first, second round, just set it, forget it type of lineup players, which for me, that was always Jason Tatum. Anthony Edwards kind of in that realm, but people that have that small forward eligibility to me are valuable. Other than that, I don't really take too much stock in it. If you're going to be a guard, you'll have two guard spots. If you're going to be a power forward, you probably have center eligibility, but usually there's enough centers that it doesn't matter so much. But that small forward spot seems like every year I have one that is solid, but I need to have another one that I can rotate through that spot. So that's kind of the only thing I would care about.
I was reading somebody's they on ESPN they broke it into tiers per position.
Yeah.
And and they got to small forward, and every one of them like tier 1, and tier 1 had somebody there and whatever.
Yeah.
Small forward, tier 1, none. And then
Really?
tier 2 LeBron. Which I was like, I don't know why you wouldn't just put LeBron at tier 1, but
yeah. Started at tier 1 and work your way down.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's kind of interesting to say, like, there is no top flight. Now, it's hard because I think Kevin Durant's a small forward.
Yeah.
And, like, these guys, there are guys that are small forwards that for whatever reason they don't want to be classified as them, even though the NBA is positionless or whatever. But
right.
I would love, and this is just kind of like off topic, I would love for ESPN in fantasy to get rid of point guard, shooting guard. I would give you two guard, three forwards.
Yeah.
And just count centers as forwards and just go like that.
Yeah. Well, the WNBA does that, which I very much appreciate. Maybe because they're more progressive. I don't know. But they're just like, hey, guard, forward / center. You don't even have to be a center. You can be whatever you want. So I'm with you on that. I think I'll look into that. I think we can maybe change that. But
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Anybody else on this team that you're interested in talking about?
And the Thunder, looking at their off season, they basically just said, "Hey, we're the champions. We'll run it back."
Yeah.
They didn't really lose anyone. They didn't really gain anyone other than their draft picks, whose Sorber's out for the year. So they're basically like, same team. Let's get it.
I don't think he would have played anyway. But
yeah, well, probably not. But the only other person I think of note, Nikola Topic.
Yeah, Topic.
Topic. Yeah, I'm interested in him only because I have him in a dynasty league, and I need to see what he does. But I do think he can be. They're comparing him to like Josh Giddey and similar style players. Not quite Luka-esque, but just somebody who can facilitate. You got to see how his shot develops. He should get playing time this year, I think, which I would like to see because I think if they really do think that highly of him, obviously they played very, together last year. Everybody that came in produced, Cason Wallace and Aaron Wiggins and Dort, and kind of had people just rotating in similar fashion. So I think he stands out a little bit from that rotation as far as his play style, but it's TBD on if he's actually able to contribute.
He's definitely going to be a change of pace kind of guy, I think, for that team. I think they're going to go Shea, who can play fast, can do anything, right? But typically, I think they play a little faster with Shea on the floor. Now Topic comes in, I think they could, because he's not as fast and as explosive as a guy like Shea, and so maybe he comes in as a change of pace kind of situation. But I'm interested to see how he helps guys like Chet. If Shea's off the floor, like are you now going to use Topic to get Chet in his spots? And does that help him kind of be? Because I think there is a battle here between who's going to be the number two between Jalen Williams and Chet, which up to this point, Jalen Williams is clear number two in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Not that Chet isn't an awesome player and a guy who is going, I think, ADP in the 5th round, which if he's in the 5th round and I'm drafting, I'm taking him,
Yeah.
no doubt.
But
Like,
he's not going to get to the fifth for me.
no, I don't think so. I just think that this guy, he's so good and he does everything. And I don't know how ESPN ranks him 5th round. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I do think Jalen is more than number 2, but I think that only makes Chet better because his efficiency goes up. He's able to focus defensively. I would prefer him to stay the number 3, and like you said, hopefully Topic or other people can get him the ball when those guys are sitting. I doubt they'll sit them both too often. You know, they'll probably have at least one of those guys on the court at all times. But, you know, if Topic is the guy that comes in and gets those minutes and is able to set up Chet, then I'd like to see that. I think they're a very intriguing team. They're fun to watch. And, you know, obviously they have a good chance to do it all over again this year with the same roster. So
Absolutely. There is a position battle I'm interested in. Both of these players are not going drafted in most rounds or most drafts. I'm interested to see if OKC is going to replace Dort with Wallace. Dort's great, and I know they love him there, but they went and they pay Shea, they pay Chet, they pay Jalen Williams. They already paid Hardenstein $30 million for the next couple years. I mean, this team is on the verge of being out of money, and I'm interested to see if they see Cason Wallace as a guy who they can then ship Dort off to then replace him with Wallace, because they are very similar players. I'd almost say Wallace is a better shooter, and maybe not a better. He's an awesome defender, but not as a physical defender as Dort is, and not as much of a tone setter. Certainly
different
not
type of defender.
Not the flopper that that Dort is, but nonetheless, I'm interested to see if that's what they're going to do. Now, there's no reports about that at all. It's just my opinion on the situation. I just think that they're going to have to cut money somewhere, and I think Dort's the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know their contract situation off the top of my head, but I don't think, obviously I know Wallace isn't on a big deal or anything, and I don't think he's probably got another year or two before he's up for a contract. But I see Wiggins. We forget about Caruso. Like, I know he signed 2 years ago or something. So, you know, they have so many of the same type of players with different strengths, different specialties within that kind of shooting guard, small forward, maybe point guard type of role, that you're probably right. They will have to pick and choose who stays. But I think this year they decided everybody's on contract. Let's roll, you know. So I think they're fine kind of rotating through those guys, getting them 20 to 24 minutes each and letting the coach, you know, kind of stagger their minutes the way he sees fit.
Right. Oh, no, I totally agree. I was trying to look up Lou Dort's extension. He has a team.
What's his deal?
His contract includes a team option for the 25-26 season.
Okay.
So that's this season,
this
right?
season, yeah. He must have exercised that.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think obviously he's playing for him. So, so it's interesting. Interesting to see. I guess maybe he's a free agent this year. So maybe that's even more of a reason for them to or after this year.
Yeah, I could see him moving on from him next year. Yeah, a lot of times that's what happens with those types of role players that, you know, if he's shooting well, very productive for you. If he's not, yeah, he's a good defender, but he's a liability elsewhere, so
right,
they'll move on.
For sure. Going on to the fourth team in this, these last two teams are going to be interesting to talk about. The Portland Trail Blazers, they go and they draft Hansen Young.
Your favorite.
I like him if they're gonna if they'll play him. I kind of like him. I don't know, like he's interesting. I'm not gonna draft him by any means, but he's an interesting guy. A guy that, you know, we've joked the last few times. I always get stuck with him. Jeremy Grant. I always get stuck with him on my team.
I just stuck with, or if just
I always choose him. I think, which is a problem for me. I guess I always value those guys that I feel like can get me a little bit of everything, and then Jeremy Grant always lets me down. But so live and learn, I suppose. Who's the best player on this team?
Healthy or not healthy? because
Well, not healthy. It's Dame, but
right.
healthy. Who's the best player?
Oh man, good question. I think if I had to choose one player, just as overall best player, fantasy is probably different, but I think overall best player, I'd probably would say Shaden Sharp. I
Yeah,
think
I think
at
so.
least talent wise, I think he has the most potential, probably higher than Scoot. I think there's other players I like more fantasy wise, but I do think as a player, if you're looking for a scorer and an offensive player, and I mean he's decent defensively, but I think overall best player, I'd say he's probably their number one option.
For sure. I think him and oh, now I'm blanking on his name. The went to Boston.
Banton.
No. He went.
Oh,
He's
Simons.
now on
Simons. Yeah.
Simons. Yeah, Anthony Simons. I think him and Simons they overlapped a lot,
Yeah.
and they because neither of them can play point guard, and so they kind of got stuck in this like, well, we have these two talented guys, we want them to play. One of them put them on the floor at the same time. Hopefully, one of them can become a point guard. Well,
Yeah.
neither of them can be. So now they ship him off, Simons off, and they bring in Drew Holiday, and who can be a solid point guard, obviously championship level point guard.
Hmm.
He's older, but that's still okay. And now they're going to say, okay, Shaden, you play shooting guard like you're supposed to, and we'll create an offense around you being a shooting guard. Now, I'm not sold on Chauncey Billups as a coach yet. I don't. They just signed him, I think, to a new contract extension, which is
Yeah.
crazy because they've sucked ever since he even started with them. So
Yeah.
anyway, whatever. But so I'm interested to see if he can take a step because he's going to give. They're just going to give him the opportunity. Him and Denny Avdia.
Yeah. Yeah. I see Abdia getting a lot of volume. Their front office, I think, is really the problem. I don't think it's Billups as much because I think he's shown like he's a pretty good coach as far as the rapport he has with his team, and they seem to want to play hard for him. So I don't know if it's maybe his rotations are a problem too, but I feel like it's just personnel that they brought in because I never understood why in the first place. I mean, they drafted Scoot, which is great. I think he has potential to be a good guard, but they had Simons and they had Shaden, and now they're throwing in a third guy that really needs the ball in his hands.
Hmm.
So I think it was good that they brought in guys like Avdia, Tumani Kamara that don't really need the ball in their hands, that play defense and can kind of, they're not the best shooters, but they can space the floor a little bit with their play style. And then they started going the other way with the big men. They had Aiton, they brought in Aiton, they drafted Klingon, and now they're drafting Hansen Young, and I think they're just missing their draft picks or the people they're trading for. They already have the personnel that they are getting,
Yeah.
which I think makes it hard for them to have the right pieces.
I think they're just not sold on the pieces that they have.
Yeah,
They keep retaining talent that they are on bad contracts. I mean, they
right.
signed Grant to I think another contract extension this past summer, or maybe last year. I mean, they're like, oh, we got to keep this asset because we're gonna move him. But then nobody wants him at $20+ million a year. It's like unless you can get him to sign a contract for less than that, you're not gonna move him. Nobody
Yeah.
wants that.
Well, I need you to do a case study on Jeremy Grant because look at like the last 4 or 5 years, just small sample size, but look at the games, the no, total number of games he's played after March 1st.
Oh, after March 1st. I don't
After
know.
March, like just in that general realm, he
Right.
does not play after the All Star break every year. Like I
Really?
swear, he probably like 10 games max the last 5 years each season.
That's
Like this
crazy.
guy's on a $20+ million contract, and he doesn't have to play for 2 months.
It's that Kawhi Leonard deal.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Uh,
We'll look into it after the show, but
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just
No,
every
I
year
have
I'm
it. I
like,
mean,
where did he go? Where's like he's got an injury, but is he gonna come back? Nobody knows. Oh, he's shut down. Oh, okay.
yeah. It's like, oh, we'll save him. But I think they just shut him down because they, like I said, I don't think they want him on the team. They
Yeah, I
don't
mean I don't
because
blame him, but they
he
just gotta
doesn't
cut him. Take
he
the
doesn't
loss.
fit what they do. He doesn't fit like if you don't get, he's like Harrison Barnes kind of. The team has to be his in order for him to produce. It has to be every down the floor. We're going to give you the ball, and then you try to score, do whatever moves you're going to do. But this team is trying to shift off of that and go to like a kind of in the flow, in transition, ball moving around type team, which is why I think they go after Hansen Young, is because he can help with that. Now Klingon is not going to help with that, but you need somebody to play defense in this
Yeah.
league. You need everybody talks about like, oh well, back in the day it was like you drafted people to put on your team just to stop Shaq. Well, you put people on your team just to kind of match up with Jokic. And these guys, you have to have somebody because otherwise they're going to kill you.
Yeah, it's true, and I think that's why they were so successful with Dame and CJ, because they had two players that were flying around creating, and they had that was kind of their identity, right? And so now they've kind of gone between two for too long, and especially the people they've committed to are either hurt or not good. So unfortunately, they've just kind of struck out on that front. But I do see them being, I mean, they were competitive towards the end of last year, so it's possible maybe this year they push for the play-in a little bit, but
Yeah, they were competitive. They made a run to try to make the play in, but
yeah,
in large part, unfortunately for them, it's because Simons went berserk
yeah,
in the last
true.
like month of the season. He went crazy. He was scoring like 25 plus points a game, and he was going
Yeah.
nuts. But they don't have him on the team anymore, so we'll see what they can do.
Yeah.
Moving on to the last team in this division. Do you have anywhere you want to start with this team?
Man,
The Utah Jazz.
where do you start with this team? It's a mess.
It's a
I
mess.
don't just like we were talking about Portland's identity. I don't know what Utah is. What are they trying to do? Because I've had
No.
trouble the last couple years with them. Of, you're trying to find. Obviously, there's going to be at least 5 to 6 people that are fantasy relevant. So as I'm sifting through statistics and their roster makeup, like who's going to be one of the guys that's going to really produce, and because they don't have that identity, it's really hard to know who to target and where to target them.
They are praying that they can get a top 5 pick. They're praying. They have wanted to get this top 5 pick for so long, and every year the lottery kills them.
Yeah,
They always drop. They dropped to 6 this year, or I think they were 5 this year actually.
yeah, but then they took the guy that didn't even want to be there. So
Yeah, he doesn't want to be there, but then the media day he comes out and says like, "Oh well, of course I want to be here. Like I'm just happy. I'm just one of the guys.
yeah,
I'm an NBA player." So
he's
what
like,
can I
oh,
say?"
he wants to start now. That's what he wants.
Yeah, which he should. I think
Yeah,
that
he should. Yeah,
I mean, right now their starter, they have Bryce Sensabaugh at power forward, which is just not going to happen. They got to put Markin in at 4 and Ace Bailey at 3. I mean, they have to.
yeah, yeah.
Just because what are they doing?
I know. I mean, they pick up in the offseason. They've got, listen to this list: Kyle Anderson, who me and Riley,
Slow-mo.
my fiance, we call him Megamind because he looks kind of.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Kevin Love,
Okay.
a couple draft picks: Yusuf Nurkic, maybe useful; Georges Niang, relatively useful, and then their draft picks. That's about it. Not a lot of
Yeah,
talent coming in.
I don't understand, and I'm going to say this. I don't understand how Niang is in the NBA. This guy,
Yeah,
and he plays. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
get what team. I mean, maybe he's a smart guy, and he knows his way around the floor, but it got to be one of the most unathletic looking people I've ever seen. I just don't. But good for him. I
it
don't
was
know.
like
He
it was
hangs
like
around.
watching, and I know that because they both went to Iowa State. But it was like watching Royce White back in the day.
Yeah,
They're just these big dudes that
there's big dude,
bumbling
big
down the
body
court.
guys.
And he'll have that one game a year where he drops like 33 and
Yeah.
makes 8 threes, and you're like, oh wow, Yang, great game, and then nothing.
What keeps him on the floor is that he shoots 40% every year.
Yeah,
That's what keeps him from 3 every year, and so that keeps him on the floor. But this team, I mean, ADP wise, they have let's see, marketing going in the 9th round.
I'm fine with that. I'm not touching him.
You're not touching marketing at all.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe that's actually a decent value because
I
he does
would
get
absolutely
points, but
snatch him there.
I don't know. I mean, Kessler's going too high this year finally, which, he was always kind of a nice 7th, 8th round, 9th round guy, and now he's up in the 6th range, which
Gets hurt a lot.
he does, but he blocks shots like nobody and rebounds, so that's always valuable to me, but probably won't be getting him this year. I was really bummed that they did sign Nurkic and Kevin Love. not that Kevin Love will play that much, but just taking away minutes from Filipowski. I do like Filipowski, and he played pretty well last year, and I feel like he's just kind of a stable player. He's not going to wow you, but he was pretty productive, kind of double-double realm, and played hard. So I feel like he would actually be a decent pick towards the later rounds, but that might be cut into now with Nurkic getting out there doing weird things.
Yeah, Nurkic, I've never been a fan of him as a player or a person or anything.
Yeah, neither is Draymond Green.
Neither is Draymond Green. So who knows? So we'll move on. Now we'll switch over to the Pacific Division, our last division we're going to cover. We'll start with the Warriors, who make a lot of moves yesterday.
Yeah, for real. Popping off.
Yeah,
glad we saved them for last.
Right, yeah. If we did it a couple days ago, we wouldn't know what to do. Jimmy Butler is my favorite player, just in the NBA, personality-wise. I would not want him on. I mean, I don't want him on my team at all. His playoff Jimmy is great.
Yeah.
Regular season Jimmy would drive me nuts.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, so we're just not going to care about 82 games to get us to the playoffs, but like, don't worry, playoffs we'll start 10th seed, but we'll get it there.
Yeah.
It's like, it drives me crazy. And then when they needed him most last year, Steph goes out in the playoffs. Playoff Jimmy is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And so it worries me a little bit that performance may be a sign of he's kind of on the decline. But I love Jimmy.
I do too. It's hard to not root for him, even if he's not on a team that I generally like. But you see the stat, I forget the exact number, but they came out, their starting roster age average, now that Horford has signed, it's going to be about 68.2 years old. It's crazy.
It's old. It is old.
It's like 34, 33 or something. But I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah.
In today's day and age, especially when, you got all the young guys coming out of college at 18, 19, or 20, and their average age is 33.
Yeah, they don't draft players.
No, I mean
look
their chart is literally no green on my chart, no additions.
No, nothing.
They just trade them all.
Now they have additions. They have, they add Horford, they add Seth, which Seth is not. Seth is just there to be Steph's brother.
Yeah,
I'm convinced he's not going to play.
Two Currys out there just raining threes on you.
They should play them together. I don't think that's going to happen too much. But
if I were Seth, I'd be like, hey, let me go back and play with my brother.
Yeah, well, for sure. And then after this, he'll come back to the Mavericks for the 19th time.
Jeez.
And then the one guy I am going to be looking out for who played, I thought, really well last year before he got hurt, Anthony Melton. Not draft worthy, but I think I'm definitely going to think about him, like as far as like couple games in, because they need defense on the perimeter, and if he can hit shots, he's going to replace Gary Payton quickly.
Yeah, I agree. He's a better shooter, better ball handler, and developer on the pass. But I do like him too. I'm surprised he never got enough playing time in Memphis. They just kept doing Grizzly things and giving anybody else playing time. But that's a good pickup for them, I think.
For sure. And I mean, he played for them last year and then he tore his ACL, which he was playing well for the Warriors last year. But one guy kind of off the radar that I'm interested in is Quentin Post. I mean, they have him third on the depth chart in center, but I was impressed with him last year. His three-point shooting was great. And so if he can spread the floor for this team that could use a stretch five, I mean, Draymond's not a stretch five. I mean, he's going to, as much as he likes to think, maybe.
Yeah, he's like a stretch 3.5.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. I'm interested to see if he just gets relegated to the bench now that they got Horford, who can stretch the floor.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see.
Yeah, I think he'll probably be competing with Trace Jackson Davis, who seems to kind of bounce in and out of the good graces of Steve Kerr, which
Get it.
I don't either. I'd like to see more of Jackson Davis probably over Post, but I do think Post offers a little different skill set, so they both can be useful, but it really depend on, I think, what they're going to do with their wing position, because who knows? They got Hield, they've got Seth, they've got Moody, Pajemski's going to be kind of a 2-3 combo. There's a lot. Oh, and Kuminga, we didn't even mention him, but
he just got signed yesterday.
Yeah,
He signs a 2-year deal. when it's like you don't want to be on the team. Why sign a 2-year deal for less money than you wanted? Why wouldn't you just have taken the qualifying and then be a free agent next year like
Clearly, I don't know.
Grimes did and who else? Cam Thomas did.
Clearly, he didn't go to Jeremy Grant's seminar.
No, he did not. He needs Jeremy Grant's agent.
He sure does. Yeah, he kind of got shafted a little bit there, but
yeah.
Maybe he just wanted to stay there because he wants to win a championship. I mean, they got a pretty good chance, I'd say, with the roster, even though it's old. They got a lot of talent there. So
yeah. I don't know what his thinking is. He's a pretty reserved guy, as far as I understand it, unless you're talking to management, and then he's not a reserved guy. Yeah, I think Pods and Heald, they're gonna play a lot, but they don't. Heald gets hot. So he's somebody I look forward. Like I said, like we talked about, he's a guy who they're playing 4 games in a week or 3 games in a week. I'm thinking about it, adding him if he's on a hot streak. Pods, that guy's just all over the place all the time. You never know what you're going to get from him. You might get a 0-point game. You might get 25. But he's not going to give you much rebounds. He's not going to give you much assists. He's not. So he's just, I'm not touching him whatsoever.
Yeah, they have him very, very last rounds, which, like you said, maybe you pick him up for a week or 2 here and there, but I'm not super interested with all the other pieces they've got coming in. So
me neither.
One more question: Where do you value Steph Curry this year?
I mean, I always undervalue Steph. I think I was just thinking about that today because this team is so hard, and I think I would put him up there tier 2 underneath the Shea Luka point guard combo. They're number 1, they're tier 1, and you should take them 1 and 2. And then Steph is in that third point guard off the board with Maxey maybe and a couple of these other point guards in the league. He's a superstar. He's awesome. I mean, he plays all the time. And he's just so dang electric. And he'll go and he'll carry your team to a weak win just by himself sometimes. And I don't know. I do, like I said, so to answer your question, I think I'm putting him 3rd or 4th point guard off the board.
Okay. Yeah, so probably end of the second round? Or would you go a little higher?
Yeah, I think I would go middle second round.
Okay.
Depending on where people think Cade's going. Cade and Tyrese Maxey and these guys.
7.
I'm probably taking him right after Cade, maybe. Yeah, so.
Okay. Yeah, I just never know what to value him at. I mean, obviously when he was 2015-16, when he was kind of peaking at that point fantasy-wise, that I would take him in the first round. But I've always had trouble with him the last couple of years of, is this year going to be, reminiscent of where he was, or is he going to keep kind of being, I mean, he still produces, but he's not going to be in that first round discussion as much anymore. So
no, I don't think so. I think you have some guys that are coming up that are, I'm willing to take a chance on their leap rather than Steph Curry's consistency.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take, Cade Cunningham, we talked about him just a second ago, but he's that guy. I'm taking a chance on his leap forward over Steph Curry's just consistent play. So the next team we have on here is the Los Angeles Clippers.
Sponsored by, what's that company?
Ascension.
Yes.
Ascension Tree Company. They might name the Intuit Dome after them. After what's going on here. I guess we'll just start with it. Are you drafting Kawhi at all?
Man, no.
No?
I don't think so. I mean, he averages well when he plays, but is he going to play all the time, I mean, supposedly he's healthy. Seems that's not always the case, so off to a good start that way, but
even perfectly healthy. Let's say you're going to get 60 games, Kawhi. He's going to play 60 games for you in the season. Yeah, I mean, he generally, I think, plays less. But let's say he's going to, even then, let's say he's going to get 60, 70 games. He's probably going to miss 10 to 15 games in the year.
65 seems like a realistic kind of load management number.
Are you still drafting him given this situation that he's in? Because I can guarantee right before the season starts, the NBA is going to make their ruling, and there's no way that they see past what's going on.
Really? You think they're gonna
suspend him or
something?
I don't know if they're gonna suspend him. I don't know if they're gonna avoid the contract. I don't know what the deal is, but there is a chance that they might void the contract and he'll be a free agent to sign wherever he wants to.
Yeah.
Then he becomes really interesting depending on where he goes, because who knows? He might just take a 1 year minimum deal and go play for the Lakers. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I just think that situation I don't want looming over somebody I'm going to try to count on.
Right. I mean, since he's going in the 8th round, roughly,
Yeah.
maybe I'm not as down on
surprised.
him as I thought. Because, I mean, assuming, like you said, 65 games healthy, I would maybe be interested there. But, yeah, I think that's just an added wrinkle of maybe I just... Because there's other people in that range that I'm just way more intrigued by that probably don't have legal issues or probably don't have as much health issues. So, and I mean, there's a lot of mouths to feed in LA. That's
Ton.
they bring in Brad Beal, they bring in John Collins. They've already got Zubats. They've got James Harden, obviously. Like there's Chris Dunn, and I don't know. I just don't see him demanding 20 shots like he used to. And I mean, he gets some blocks, but and steals. Outside of that, he's not really doing a ton.
Mm-mm.
So I don't think I
Yeah.
value him as highly as I'd like to.
Right. And yeah, I think Brad Beal's an interesting guy on this team. I don't know that. I think he's past his Wizards. He wants to shoot the ball all the time phase, especially going to play for Phoenix. He got a kick in the teeth there.
Yeah.
And now his bank account's not saying that, but finally he's back to what contract he should have, which is like I think like $5 million or something like that, something crazy, crazy low. But I just don't. I see him as a stretch shooter. That's it.
Yeah.
Just a shooter.
Yeah, he doesn't have the explosion that he used to, and that was a big part of his game was, getting him off because they'd respect the shot, then he'd drive and kick and score, and that was kind of his game. So
he could surprise me though, especially Kawhi Leonard started missing games and they need a number two. But James Harden is just he's a great player. He's so hard to play with, especially at the two if you're a shooting guard, because really he needs you to be a spacer because he needs to be able to get to paint. And if you don't just stand out at the three for him to pass the ball to and space defenders out, then you're not a value to him on the floor.
yeah, yeah, it's a very interesting roster construction to me. I get why they're bringing in Beal. I do like the addition of Collins because he is kind of a sit out there and shoot the three type guy, and he does play hard. So they need guys like that, considering where they were coming from. I mean, do they still have Batum?
Yep.
Yeah. Jeez, how's he
I
still
don't
in the
know.
league?
I can't believe it, but I think his arms get longer every season.
I know, like him and PJ Tucker. I'm like, they're just the same bald guy out there, just spacing the floor. But
yeah, I'm interested. Do you think that Zubac keeps the job over Lopez? Do you think Lopez is just like fine being a bench guy?
we'll see. Yeah, that's another good addition. And
Yeah, that's great for them.
I mean, they have Zubac ranked so high, like
I thought
second
so,
round,
too.
and I'm like,
Yeah,
he had a great year last year. Don't get me wrong, but with all those people they brought in, I still think he'll be the starter, or they'll do what the Lakers did 5 years ago, where JaVale McGee's the starter and he plays 10 minutes and gets off the court. But I see him playing more than Lopez. I mean, Lopez is going to shoot the three, which they need, so it's probably going to be a pretty good team. But
yeah.
fantasy-wise, I think it's going to be a difficult slog for some of them.
Yeah, for sure. I think everybody else on this roster is kind of not fantasy relevant. I mean, I love Derrick Jones Jr. I like Nick Batum. Bogey, I liked him when he played. I mean, he was definitely fantasy relevant when he was in Atlanta, but he comes over here and he gets, like I said before, he gets stuck in the Harden ball where he's just a shooter, and that's all you can be as a shooting guard with Harden on the floor. Is you are a shooter and you stand out there and that's it.
Yeah.
Because even if you were to be like get the ball, you can't break down your defender because Harden's in the paint because that's where he came from. That's where he got you the ball from. So it's like you have no options there, and so it's hard. But so I think that's why I think Brad Beal is kind of going to diminish, not worth really anything. Maybe late. What is his ADP? Bradley Beal, 15th round.
Yeah.
Or 15th round, which I'm
I'd
okay
fine with
there.
that, but
yeah,
even
I'm
then,
okay.
like he was barely rosterable last year when he was healthy. So I don't know, as a streamer, I guess, but
Yeah. So
it'll be interesting to watch them, see how they stagger their minutes and everything for the first month.
right. I actually looking at Zubac's numbers last year. He had an awesome season.
Yeah, great
17
year.
points, 13 rebounds, basically, 3 assists and a block.
Yeah, but
That's
again,
pretty
he had no stress on his minutes, though. They didn't have
80
any of
games,
these other
33
centers.
minutes a game. He
Yeah.
averaged 40 and a half fantasy points a game.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great year. I had him in a couple leagues, and I was very pleased. But then I saw ADP 14, and I was like,
That's high.
"You're telling me there's only 13 people that are going to score more? No way."
Yeah, that's true. That's hard to believe too.
So
Yeah.
maybe like third or fourth round.
They
But
have
not for
Zubac
me.
going above Harden.
Yeah, right, exactly. I'm like,
Am I doing that?
I'm not doing that.
No. No. Okay, so we'll switch over to the other Laker team, or the Los Angeles team, the Lakers.
The only Laker team.
The only Laker team. Luka, top 4, obviously. Pretty safe to say. Honestly, it's hard with his injury history. I think he's in good shape.
He looks good.
He looked good. I'm not gonna say anything because I've been burned by it for years. Everybody's like, "Oh, well, he looks so good." It's like, dude, y'all just don't understand. You get these pictures every year. You get the video of him running up the stairs in Slovenia for 7 years straight, and it's like, I can't see him being in good shape anymore. I got to see him on the floor. And then the one thing about Luka is he will play himself, which is crazy, out of shape.
Yeah.
He is the only player I think I've ever seen that throughout the season will get fatter. It's crazy. Shaq used to say he plays himself in shape. I don't understand what Luka's doing during the season where he will come in great looking, great, has a great first week, and then as the season goes on, he gets pudgier and pudgier and pudgier, and then he just, I don't know. So that's where it's hard. That's why like they have him going 5th of those top 5 guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with him going last of those top 5 guys.
I agree. And I think, with LeBron and some other guys that, I mean, he's still going to be similar to the Luka Mavs type statistics that we're used to, but I do think I'm kind of with you. I'm got him firmly at 5 after talking through all the other teams, and I do think it's Jokic, it's Wemby, it's Shea, it's Giannis, and then it's Luka.
Yeah, I can agree with that. LeBron 10. That seems high for me.
Yeah, I mean, he outperformed what I thought he'd do last year, and it's hard to doubt him, but
he's going to get you 25 points a game still.
Yeah, 25, 7, and 7 or something like that every dang year for longer than I've been alive almost. It's crazy. Year 23. Jeez.
Yeah, is he going to shoot 37% from 3 again? That's insane.
I actually could believe that. I feel like
That's crazy to me.
He was a really low 30s early in his career shooter, and then he was close to 40 with the Heat for a minute, and then kind of back to 35-ish. But I could see him shooting 37 again. It doesn't seem out of the question. He's taking better shots now in his older age, and he's not driving as much, so I think his shot is more how he scores than he used to.
I think he takes a step back this year, not because, I mean, he's old, right? So he's getting to the end of his career, but I think he takes a step back only because it's Luka's team now, and he knows it.
Yeah.
This team is going to be centered around Luka. He is now the second option, no doubt about it. He might, honestly, he's a great player. He might be the third option scoring on this team. I mean, I think that they're going to take him. They're going to take Luka, and they're going to take Reeves, and they're going to say, y'all two are the offense. LeBron, you're going to just naturally fit into whatever system we put this thing in.
Yeah.
And so I see his numbers maybe going down a little bit, but he's such a pride guy.
Yeah.
That I can't imagine that he's going to average 25 points a game. If he doesn't, then he might be like, we're going to change the offense because I need to average 25 points a game. Yeah, he's just kind of one of those guys.
Yeah, I'd say second round. I still probably won't draft him because I know my friend Hunter will, probably first round. But shout out Hunter. But I think I would probably take him second or third round comfortably.
Yeah,
so
for sure, second or third round. I think everybody else on this team is kind of fantasy relevant. Maybe if DeAndre Ayton has a better season than last year, but
I was going to ask you about him.
I don't think he's going to stay on the floor. Same thing. His whole career has been. I guess maybe when he played in Phoenix, he was okay playing 70, 60 games, but last year plays
Yeah.
40. The year before plays 55.
I mean, I
can't.
think he'll be healthy, but even when he was healthy with Phoenix, like, I mean, they had other options, but so do the Lakers. You know, it's just going to be similar. Booker, Doncic is going to have similar usage, and then they had a second option with Durant and others that, you know, LeBron compares to. So, I mean, he realistically is going to average 35 fantasy points roughly at his peak, you know. Maybe high 30s, but 35 is a pretty good number. They have him at 33 something, and I think that's probably his ceiling. 35 is
Yeah.
his ceiling.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's 10-10 and a block and a steal and high efficiency. You know, that's 35 points right there. So,
Him going ninth round, I'll look at him in ninth round.
yeah,
33
I mean, I'm optimistic about it. I think if they were trying to get a center badly, and Mark Williams was their guy, I thought that would have been a good fit. But, you know, Chris Paul-esque was taken, or, yeah, was it Chris Paul?
Yeah.
I,
His back's
I don't know.
hurt, and then he played the next day.
yeah. Whoops.
What are you doing if you're Dalton Connect? Are you just like just kicking rocks or what?
Yeah, probably hop on a connecting flight.
Yeah, this team has a lot of stuff going on. I mean, when you have Luke on your team, you're always going to be relevant, obviously. But
Yeah.
he can make really bad rosters look good.
Yeah, well, this is a pretty bad roster.
It's
Not gonna
It's a
lie.
pretty bad
I
one
was
depth wise.
making the list, and like all the green, all the ads. The only one I like. I mean, Marcus Smart is a good role player, but fantasy wise, not so good. But Jake LaRavia, I do like him. I think they'll probably end up using him in the rotation. Maybe not starter, but probably 6 or 7. He'll get minutes. I think just because he is a kind of guy that LeBron would play with. You know, he can shoot,
Right.
plays hard, he's going to rebound. LeBron makes use of those guys, and Luka
For
does
sure.
too.
I
Maxey
can't believe
maybe,
this
but-
team. Yeah, Maxey's a confidence guy.
Yeah.
He has to be confident. If he's confident, then maybe I can see some fantasy value there. But oftentimes he's just not. I mean, he'll
I
just
know.
go.
Yeah, you see him
games
out
and-
there, and he's just
He'll
like,
go months. No, it's not like games. It's months. He'll go months without shooting the ball.
Mm.
And if he does shoot the ball, it's so flat and so ugly, and it's bad to see. But he plays hard, plays good defense, so he stays on the floor. But it's just like if he doesn't have confidence, I'm not looking at him for half a second.
yeah. I need to get a good
Um,
side by side like this screen of you and Maxi Kleba. Just maybe you
Yeah,
without
they used
glasses,
to-
but there's some similarities there. You know,
Yeah.
obviously your
yeah.
shot's not quite as flat as his, but
It's better.
yeah, better than some of the
Um,
guys on the Lakers right now.
Yeah, Jared Vanderbilt. I was gonna say I cannot believe they chose. I don't know if they chose one or the other, but I would have shipped him off before I let Dodo leave.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I like Vanderbilt as a defender, but outside of that, he's nothing. So
Dodo's just as good a defender, and he's a better shooter, 10 times better shooter. But anyway,
yeah,
we'll move on to the next team we have here, the Phoenix Suns. I love Devin Booker as a fantasy value guy.
Okay.
As a Mavericks fan, I do not like him, but he's going second round,
hmm
which I'm happy with. I'm happy to take him second round anywhere there. I think he's a first round talent in the second round. That's, can't beat that. Outside of him, well, I don't know what the heck.
yeah.
Jalen Green, you high on him, low on him?
You know, I have to tell you, I made some sort of blood pact with Doug and Hunter that I will never ever have Jalen Green on my roster. You know, he roasted me 2 years ago in the fantasy playoffs, and he just went off. Like you probably remember 2 years ago when he was just cooking.
Yeah,
And-
crazy.
I had the opportunity to pick him up off the waivers many a time, and now I have to refuse every single time. And obviously this year he's draftable and probably going to be a decent asset for them. So it's going to be hard, but I'm going to have to abstain from Mr. Jalen Green.
5th, 6th round, I'm taking him.
Yeah, I think his value is there. This year, I mean, like you said, I think it's a sleeper year for Booker because what else is he going
Who
to do?
scores?
Yeah. What
Who
else?
scores on this team?
it's gonna be him
Nobody.
and Jalen Green shooting the ball
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
50 times.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Um,
I like Mark
I mean,
Williams.
Mark Williams, great.
Solid
I like
pickup.
Malawatch.
Yeah, I'd like to see them both split time. Roughly evenly. Probably Mark get close to 30 and Malawatch get 24. I think that'd be a pretty
Yeah.
good split.
I'm not sure pick and roll wise how Mark Williams is, because I don't know how much pick. I guess they play a lot of pick and roll in Charlotte, but
Yeah,
it didn't seem like he was very successful there. So
He wasn't, he wasn't.
Devin Booker is a very good pick and roll player,
Yeah.
and Common Malawatch played awesome in
Yeah.
the pick and roll in college. I just think they fit so much better than these teams. Now, their center rotation is really good. Nick Richards, solid. Malawatch, up and coming.
Yeah,
Williams, solid. I don't know. They don't have enough minutes for all of them, so I think Malawatch is going to suffer there. But
yeah.
if they do play him, I think he'll play well.
I agree. I feel like I've created this inner dialogue between myself of Nick Richards and Mark Williams hating each other for some reason. Because in Charlotte, they obviously split time, and they were always felt like one wasn't getting enough compared to the other. One would get hurt, the other would stand out, and then the other one come back, get more playing time. So it's just fitting that they ended up both in Phoenix this year. Like
Oh,
they're probably like, "What? Seriously, dude? Just let me play."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I had to
I
laugh
don't
at
know what
that.
they're going to do. Nick Richards, he wanted to start so bad, and now he's just going to be the backup again.
Right? Maybe the
It's tough for
backup.
him.
It's not a good situation for him.
Yeah, I don't. Man, that would be such a good turn if you could turn like you're back into the of a 10-man league, and you turn like Cade Cunningham, Devin Booker.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
pretty nasty. I don't think Cade will
Yeah.
drop past 7. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
but
but he's going 13. I mean, he's going. So Devin Booker's going 13.
Well,
so
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
7th,
yeah, you could
then you
maybe
you
sneak it
would
out.
if ADP holds, which never does. But
Yeah,
But
that would be pretty nasty this year.
yeah, there's one other guy. We talked about him in our fantasy or the rookies fantasy podcast that we did our first episode. Go check it out. I'm interested to see where Kobe Brea goes. I don't know that he's going to play much at the beginning of the year. Obviously, he's a rookie. Well, I guess he was drafted, but
Yeah.
as a rookie behind these guys, I don't know. But he is a flame-throwing shooter, and with a guy like Devin Booker and Jalen Green who like to attack the basket, you need floor spacers. Dylan Brooks is not a floor spacer.
He's not anything.
He's not
He's
anything.
just an antagonizer.
He will tell you that he's a floor spacer.
Yeah.
And his numbers, 39%, but he's not shooting that much. I'm going to keep an eye on him if he starts playing, because I think that he can really do something for this team.
Yeah. I mean, what else are they going to do? They're going to roll out Grayson Allen again, Colin Gillespie, Royce O'Neal still out there somewhere. I mean,
I don't know.
They should do that if they were smart, because it's probably going to
Kobe
be a
Bryant-
tougher year.
He's got to play defense, and in college, I don't think he was much for his defense. But if he can play some defense, he's 6'6" or something, so he's got length. So if he can turn some of that into good defense, then who knows what he does? Ryan Dunn's good, and
Yeah.
they can play. They could be a good 1-2 combo there.
Yeah,
but
I do like Dunn as well.
That's to see. I don't know. Dunn needs to shoot better, but
He does.
I'm
yeah.
not drafting him at all unless he can shoot better.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So the last team to cover before we move on is the Sacramento Kings. What a team to end on. Oh, boy. A team that has probably 2 draftable players on their team.
You think? That's
Um,
it?
3 maybe.
Okay.
Oh, well, I take it back. I'm not looking at this right. I mean, you're going to take Sabonis. Some are taking him first round.
Yeah.
Are you taking him first round?
I don't think so. I think probably second round seems about right. I think there's going to be a little bit more. Like, his value was mostly because he was helping distribute from the top of the key, like getting his assists and getting those triple doubles. But I think even last year he took a small step back, and I could see it continuing that way. Obviously DeRozan's a little older, but with Zach LaVine there, I do think they like Malik Monk more after last year. He performed pretty well.
Yeah. Is
Schroeder,
Malik Monk a point guard?
they got Schroeder, who I don't know if he's going to start, but I could see him commanding the ball a little bit. Keon Ellis. So I just think it's probably not first round value for me for Sabonis. I think second round's pretty comfortable though.
Yeah, I agree. I'm probably still not going to take him second round. I think I can find centers later in the draft that do everything that he does except for maybe pass, but I'm not looking for my centers to average 10 assists a game or whatever. He's going to average 7 or well, he probably averaged 5 or 6 maybe, but I don't know. I feel like I can find centers anywhere. In my first 2 rounds I'm looking for high volume scorers, and that's pretty much what I'm looking for. And he's just he can score. He'll get you 20 points a game, but I'm just not in it. For that.
I think second round's a good value. Well, third round's a good value for him, but second round's probably where he'll go. Which, like you said, I just probably won't end up with him, but he's solid every year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm high on DeMar DeRozan. He's going 4th round.
Yeah.
He's just so consistent. He's so consistent, and it's just whether or not they're going to stick to him, but it's hard to not because he can only play one way.
Yeah.
He only plays one way, and that is mid-range jumpers, and he has the ball a lot.
Yeah.
He is like one of the highest usage guys in the NBA, and he's not a point guard, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, what does this team do around him? I don't know. They're going to play like their hair's on fire because Malik Monk, LaVine, DeRozan, Schroeder, I mean, those guys are all getting out.
Yeah, and Ellis.
Sabonis with the outlet passes, I mean, they're going to play fast.
Yeah, and they need to, I think, because I don't think defensively they're going to be super strong. I mean, none of those guys are really notable defenders, unfortunately. So I think they're going to have to play fast, and that's going to be how they're successful. But I'd love to see a documentary on DeRozan after he's all said and done. So I think that'd be pretty cool, the mid-range killer or some cool nickname.
He's playing 30 years too late.
Yeah, unfortunately, man, he would have killed in the 90s. God,
he would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Is Schroeder draftable?
I think so. I think I took him last year on the Nets thinking he was going to stick around there for a while, and he played well on the Nets, but then he got traded, and if he starts and if he's the sixth man and he's getting 25 plus minutes a night, yeah, I think so. It's TBD on what they want to do because they kind of showed they were hesitant last year with Keon Ellis when he had the opportunity for more play time. They didn't really throw him into a ton of minutes right off the bat, so I really got to see if they. I mean, obviously they're going to have LaVine starting, and Monk was kind of their sixth man, so I don't know if I trust it yet, but I wouldn't mind stashing him for a while and seeing how it goes.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with Monk. If they keep him on the bench, if they start him, I think they'll start him. I think they'll start him only because I think that they may be looking to trade him. And if he can get off to a hot start and show that maybe he can play a little point guard and all this stuff, like maybe that leads to trade value somewhere down the road. I think this team is not good enough. They have good players on their roster. They don't mesh well enough to be a playoff push or contender. They'll probably stick around, play in, but I think Malik Monk's their one piece that they want to move. Him and they're going to have to probably choose between LaVine and DeRozan.
Yeah.
I don't understand what they're thinking. They saw the way that Chicago was built. I mean, Chicago had LaVine, DeRozan, and Vooch. And you're going to say, let's bring DeRozan, LaVine, and pair them with Sabonis.
Yeah.
Who is better than Vooch, hands down, no doubt. But they said they're the same. They play the same. Except
and older, yeah.
Sabonis doesn't shoot.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand what the roster construction is here. They're just, I don't know. I don't get it.
Very similar to Portland to me, and not in terms of talent level, but in terms of roster construction. Like you said, they've just got a bunch of kind of 2-3 combo guards that got to have the ball in their hands.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work because then you got a big man that also needs the ball in his hands.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to be a great fit for them. They'll probably still push for a playoff spot, maybe in the play-in, but
you add Schroeder, who is also somebody who needs the ball in
Yeah.
their hand. It's just like you have everybody on your roster except for Keegan Murray
yeah,
need the ball in their hand.
right. Which
And I love Keegan Murray.
I know, me too, but he's kind of getting screwed by the volume
Yeah.
because he doesn't get the ball.
They got no passers.
Yeah,
And he's a great shooter, and he can do a lot. And I wish he was on another team. I
know.
wish he was. But I don't think he ever will because they know how valuable he is. So they're going to pay him the first chance they get.
yeah. I mean, we
He
still
just-
see what they do with, like you said, with Monk or somebody that they can get rid of, who they're going to get rid of. Because I'd like to see Murray leave over Monk. I think Monk should stay there, but
I mean, I don't have really much opinion on Monk. I think Monk would have been a great addition to Dallas, but I think whatever. I'm happy with what we got.
yeah,
Anyway, I think that really wraps it up. Honestly, I don't see much on this team that I'm excited about. Even Keegan Murray, who I like,
I know.
unless what's his ADP? Oh, he's gonna see the 11th round. I'm in on that.
Yeah, yeah.
but
Still,
even then, I
still
might
a
be-
little high for me. I don't know. Just he doesn't have the volume.
Yeah,
When he
won't
had
have
the
the volume.
volume, he was good. Then they brought in more guys, and then he was the first one to lose volume.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of
yeah, and
out on it.
honestly, his 3-point shooting wasn't as good as I thought it was. It was 41 his rookie season, 35, 34
Yeah, it's
the next
dropping.
two. So
But again, he's not getting as much volume, which I think
Right.
he's such a volume scorer that he relies on that touch. But
Sure.
is there any big men outside of Sabonis on their team that you can, one, name, and two, value? Because they lost Valanciunas, obviously.
oh no,
I don't, and they lost Laravia.
I think Saric has been in the league for a long time. I think that he's somebody who they're going to have play.
Yeah,
And
Drew Eubanks.
yeah, but he's not providing anything. He's just a
Yeah.
filler. I mean, they're going to have Sabonis play 35 minutes a game, and they're going to say, all
Yeah.
right, Eubanks, go in there and mess some stuff up, foul some people or
Yeah.
something. Who knows? But
So I guess in that sense, maybe Keegan Murray gets a little more volume because they play smaller. If they don't
Yeah.
have Jonas.
yeah, maybe they play smaller. They put Keegan at, but the West is you can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Well, now
You're going to
with
play
Jokic and-
teams almost every single year, or every single game
Yeah,
that have at least one center.
yeah.
At
Dallas
least one. I mean,
will kill him, and
yeah, Dallas will look at this matchup and go like lick their chops.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to love it, and so is everybody. I mean, every other team. The Rockets with Adams and Sengun, and
yeah,
San Antonio with Wemby, and
Yeah.
even Portland with Klingon and
Memphis,
Young. I mean,
too, yeah.
Memphis with Edie when he gets back. And
JJJ.
You have got to have centers, and you cannot play small unless you're the old Warriors death lineup where you all are shooting 40%.
Yeah, but there were no centers then. There wasn't a Jokic
Right.
and there wasn't Giannis, and then, there weren't these dominant
Yeah.
players that were athletic centers.
Right. And so I'm interested to see. I don't know. I don't think that lineup works for this team, and I think this team is just
Yeah,
gonna have to ride Sabonis till his wheels fall off. And
got to ride
too bad for
Sabonis.
him.
It's never good.
Man, so that wraps it up for our division preview for each team. Next week, like I said, hopefully we can get the fantasy draft. I think we're thinking Friday or Saturday, probably. I don't know, but
Yeah,
we're waiting
I
on a
just
couple.
got two people trying to join in, and I may need to fill one spot, but yeah, we'll like to do. If not, we'll probably do some sort of mock draft.
Yeah, we can do a
situation.
mock draft. We can do some other things. We'll think of something to
Yeah,
do next
but
week.
No, it's coming soon, man. It's crazy. It's only
Yeah.
2-3 weeks away from the season. 3 weeks, I think, from
Right.
tomorrow.
Monday is the first preseason game for the Mavs.
Yeah.
The first preseason in general game was today against Philadelphia and New York, the Knicks,
Yeah,
over in Abu Dhabi.
yeah.
So
Gafford
that's
already
cool.
rolled his ankle, so off to a great start.
Gafford rolled his ankle. That's awesome. I heard PJ Washington bumped his head.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Not hit his head, not got elbowed in the face. Bumped his head. What does that even mean? He jumped up to block a shot, hit his head on the rim or something?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. And listen, as long as Gafford, he's a healthy guy. He hurt his knee last year. I get it. That was a pain. But overall, as long as you don't have AD, Lively, or Cooper Flag, one of those three gets hurt, I'm going to be kicking everything. That would suck. But
Well,
nonetheless.
speaking of kicking it, go and kick it on over to our other social platforms. Catch some awesome YouTube shorts Brian's been working on. Just breaks this up a little bit cleanly and get you some highlights. Please. But follow us everywhere else, and we'll be looking forward to next week.
Yep. Have a good one.